Let me get in position real quick. Damn. Let me turn this down. Damn, dude. I've been hearing a lot of shit about the motherfucking PlayStation 5. And for the life of me, I'm like, why are people putting up with this shit to begin with? That's one question I have. Why are people putting up with this shit? Now you got $1 billion company like like Sony, and you see people are spending literally over $300 on this shit, and then it's having all these problems. Like I was watching um a a chick that be streaming. Well, she don't stream. She posts her shit up on YouTube, and she was playing the Miles Morales game, and the shit froze up on her 6 goddamn times, and I'm like, wow. And all you hear is the system freezing up, and then the rest mode problems, and then these other problems. I'm like, why are people putting up with this shit? It's not like this is like the Panasonic came out with a Panasonic 3D02. You would expect some shit like that from people. From like a company that haven't been in the game in like God knows how long. But you're gonna seriously put up with this shit with the PlayStation 5 and stick with the shit like, oh, it has potential or something. It's like, fuck that. This PlayStation 5 is in its prime. I mean, this is the 5th iteration of this shit, and it's acting like this is like the first system they came out with. Like they can't get this shit right. And then people buying the shit and it's fucking up. Come on, man. Then people saying like, well, it's not everybody's console, but it's too many of them I'm hearing. And I'm like, and it's like and it makes me feel like, because at first I was like, damn, I can't get the PlayStation 5. And then like you see all these YouTubers getting into shit. And then I'm asking my cousin, did he get it? I'm asking my friend, did he get it? They like, no. And then my friend was like, he wouldn't even get the PlayStation 5 anyway right now because of the specs and all this other bullshit he's been saying. I mean, I trust the dude, like for real. Like if he says buy or like this system sucks or these specs, I'm gonna listen to him because he know how to build computers. And I think my cousin, I think he can. But it's like, why am I gonna buy into this shit and it got all these problems? I'm spending like a ass load of money for some shit that freezes up. You can't even play the games. And I'm like, cause all these companies, all they care about is getting your motherfucking money. Why they take your money and laugh all the way to the bank on a fucking yacht, sniffing cocaine off a bitch's stomach. I'm like, damn, dude. But everybody else, they just like whatever. Like we don't care. We fix the shit when we get to it. And it's like I said, people just keep giving shit like passes. I'm like, now it's making me feel like I'm glad I didn't get that shit. And I didn't get Xbox. Fuck Xbox. I mean, all these companies, they just take your money, just like Rockstar, the Rockstar launcher. I mean, $200, $300. I mean, that's just like whatever to me. But all I'm saying is, like the Rockstar launcher, you amass all this billions of dollars off of one fucking product, which is GTA 5, and you can't come up with a better launcher than this. Like you want people to buy into your shit, but when you fuck up, I mean, but see, these companies are gonna go off of the basis like, well, people gonna buy our stuff anyway, so So it really doesn't matter. But you shouldn't have that fucking attitude though. I mean, god damn. They acting like coked up crackheads. Like, just give me money and shit. I'm like, dude. I mean, the Rockstar launcher is straight up trash every time. Cause like I said, this is what I was gonna do. I was like, let me get this PlayStation 5. Like, okay, before all that, I always wanted to play GTA the Ballad of Gay Tony. But for some stupid odd reason, they got all the GTA titles except for two, but like the 3D era. They got three, they got Vice City, San Andreas. They skipped four for some odd reason, and they got five and Red Dead Redemption. And I think you could get the first Red Dead Redemption. It's like four. It's like why put that out there? So I'm like, I don't want to buy a PlayStation 3 just to play Ballad of Gay Tony. So I was like, I'm gonna try to figure out something to stream besides working on my own shit. And so I'm like, okay, let me get the PlayStation 5 then. So at least I could stream Cyberpunk. Even though I don't like first person shooters, but I'm like, I just said fuck it. I complained about the game being the first, but I was like, you know what? Let me get it. Let me get the game. And so then they pushed it back. So I was like, okay, I'll get Miles Morales and just stream that. That'll be my first shit. But then nobody could get the PlayStation. So I'm like, okay, fuck that then. Let me get motherfucking let me get the Rockstar launcher and I'll stream Ballad of Gay Tony. And then now the shit just it like what is going on here? The shit freezes up because I was going to test to make sure all the shit works from the Lost and Damned. Cause I wanted to get the opening scene to Ballad of Gay Tony, but I was like, cause I don't like Lost and Damned. But I was like, let me test it out first. And that's what I was gonna do. You see the motorcycles, it's frozen, but there's like the rain is coming down. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then anytime you see the shit on YouTube, like how to fix this, it's just like you gotta go through too many hoops just to start up something that this company should have fixed from day fucking one. You make all this money and this is the shit you come up with. I mean, it's like you operating on a shoestring budget. Even with the PlayStation 5, this is the fifth time you made like a whole console. We ain't talking about all that PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Slim, and PlayStation 4 Pro, even though you know the PlayStation 5 is going to do the same shit. But it's like, you should have mastered this shit by now. Why the fuck are you releasing expensive shit and people having problems with them? But it's funny how the YouTubers that they give like the console exclusively to test out, they don't have problems. But the average Joe, he's like, oh, my shit's freezing up. I'm like, come on, man, that's unacceptable, dude. That is unacceptable. Like I said, it's different if it was like the Panasonic 3D02 and they was fucking up. It's like, oh, like I said, you haven't been in the game in over like what 25 years. It's to be expected, but a PlayStation Sony, I mean, you're worth billions of dollars and this is the best you got. Come on, dude. That is just not even cool on just off of ethics, just off of just ethics and standards. You releasing shit like, look, dude. Like when they do like all these Macy Day parades and all this shit, I heard they plan those type of events the day after the event is over. They plan for next year. These systems, I'm pretty sure they have the same process. So you telling me whenever the fuck the PlayStation 4 came out and they worked on it the next, like they skipped a day, and then like if they released it on Monday, they took a break on Tuesday and went to work on the next one Wednesday. So you had all these years, and it's like, this is it. It's like you rather didn't test the shit and you just said release it to the public, or you tested it and saw it had problems and said release it anyway. Well, it's one of the two. Cause or it's just like you made one model and it's like, okay, it works, and all the rest of them gonna follow suit. And you didn't test it out, like I said, on different surface to see if it was gonna overheat. You didn't see like, oh, like, how come these problems never popped up in your lab? Why is this shit with like, okay, everything is fine, but when people get it, I can't play the game because the shit blew up in my house. It's like Apple. It's like you got all you had these phones come out every fucking year, and you gotta one up each other every fucking year, and it's like the phone blows up in people's hands. Then it's like, oh, we didn't see that coming. Come on, dude. Like I said, you like Apple's like worth over $1 trillion, and it's like everybody keeps having problems with the text or this. I don't have an iPhone, but it's like this letter turns into, like, if you press A, it turns into a question mark. How many iPhones have you come out with since '07, and you have not fixed this problem yet? Or it's always some new shit that pops up. With this update, it fixes this, but then there's like 10 other shit that fucks up. Uh, the people that know me best know I don't like too much or nothing. And this is exactly why. I mean, you're literally operating like this is your first time in the game doing this shit. I mean, I'm mad for the people. I'm mad for the people because they just buy into it, and they're like, yeah, let's go, boys, every time this shit comes out. But then they want to cry and complain. It's like, I mean, of course, they have a right to, because they're spending over $300 on your expensive paperweights, and it fucks up everything. Like, it crashes, it's overheating. I can't do this. My whole, like, it crashed my whole operating system. The PlayStation blew up, blew the gas line in my house. Now I ain't got a house no more because it's all this bullshit. Like, how come it didn't blow up at the studios? How come Marcus Brownlee shit didn't blow up? Not saying I want the man to get harmed or nothing, but damn. And then it's like, it's like even with cars. It's like, if the brakes don't work on like 1,000 of them bitches, they recall them back and be like, yo, we gonna do whatever to fix the problem and shit. Like, people spend over $10,000 on these cars, and it's like the brakes don't work. They have to recall them for safety hazards. I mean, the PlayStation is not on a life-threatening thing like a car, but still, you can't expect people to spend hundreds of dollars on this shit, and it's like, whatever. While you take everybody's money and act like you did some real good shit. Like I said, this shit is just highly unacceptable, dude. That shit is real fucked up. That is real fucked up. That shit is fucked up all day. Like I said, people accept too much shit. Always talking about shit has potential. Like, after making 5 different systems, I mean, you should be at your prime now. I mean, this shit, everything should be flawless at this point. Like, of course, people gonna be like, well, I mean, the human beings that work up at these companies and they make mistakes. It's like, yeah, people do make mistakes, but after a while, like with shit like this, you shouldn't be making this many, like, real big fucking errors. I mean, the homegirl was playing Miles Morales and he froze up 6 times. I'm like, wow. Like I said, it's just too ridiculous. And it was like, I'm glad I dodged that bullet. I mean, I've been rocking with PlayStation shit since like fucking 96 or something. With the first PlayStation before the analog got introduced. I got a PlayStation glass. Like a mug. Look like the trophy and shit. Like, so it's not that like I'm bashing PlayStation and like, I mean, but in this case I have to. I am bashing PlayStation, but it's like this is it, dude. I'm like, nah, dude, it's that's just unacceptable on all types of levels. When you want people to pay, I mean, especially after this season, I mean, people lost their jobs, people can't afford food or buy food on put the food on the table for their loved ones and shit, and people suffering. But it's like, oh, give us like over $500 for some shit that's gonna basically be an expensive paperweight. I'm like, nah, that's just not cool. But you think that the owners and the people at the head of this shit care that they eating off of everybody else's dime? Cause they don't care. They ain't getting sick. They're not losing their jobs. Their shit works. But I guess we still waiting for PlayStation to have potential. The fuck out of here, man. Like I said, that shit is just not cool. I mean, that shit is just definitely not cool. I mean, like I said, I'm not saying like I said, I'm saying this because I care about how people live in their shit. Like I said, like I said, if I bought, I could literally buy the motherfucking the disc and the digital version and still sleep good at night. I'm cool, but it's the principalities in this shit. Like, you can't expect people to pay all this money for some broken shit. I mean, you're expected to just ball out of control when you get this shit. But then it's like, oh yeah, let's go, boys, let's go, boys, and you're gonna be like playing the game, and then you be talking and like, oh yeah, yeah, playing the shit, and the characters is talking, and they be like, ah, and you be like, what the fuck? And you keep restarting the shit, it keeps doing the same thing. Well, what the fuck is this? For a company that's, come on, dude. It's just way too severe to be acting like this. It's just way too severe. And then it's like the Christmas season and shit. Nah, dude. I mean, it's just making me feel like waiting for God knows how long until you actually fix your shit. I remember I remember my friend got the PlayStation Pro and he was like, there was some issues with that shit and he had to like re-download all his games over again. Again, nobody should have to be going through this for a system like the PlayStation. I mean, you're expecting the shit to work right. Damn. What? Like I said, you're expecting the shit to work right. And it's like, Like I said, just like with Rockstar and their Rockstar launcher. Why are people going through this shit? I mean, the people that bought that and this is what they got out of it. I mean, damn. Now, if people said fuck these systems and companies on mass, and then the companies want to issue an apology and shit because they know they're gonna be losing money and they don't want to do that. But like, okay, then make a good product then, so people won't have to leave. It's like these nutsacks ain't even trying to do the shit, just to give people a good experience and all this shit to make them want to come back. They want to be like, nope, just give me your money. And if the shit fucks up, oh well, we can get to it when we get to it. Like I said, I'm glad I dodged that bullet. That shit is insane. And then I'm seeing this thing on, like, what was that, IGN or whatever the fuck it was. I mean, it was just, the chick was just talking about problem after problem after problem. I'm like, damn, is this some good news in this shit? Does it even turn on? I heard motherfuckers talk about the power shit won't come on. I'm like, damn. Like I said, people, man. And like I said, it's just people just spend too much money on subpar bullshit. And it's like you see this all the time. Like I said, even before in the past, the one game that I had that like a real problem with was that Matrix game that came out in 2003. Like that was the first game that I seen that I played that actually crashed and you just couldn't play it. But it was like that was just one game. Like one out of the many games I've been playing. And like I said, I hate to be like keep saying this shit. I've been playing games since 89, December 25th, 1989. And it's like, you play games, you just have fun, you just rock out with it. And it was like I said, the Matrix on the PlayStation 2 was the first one. I mean, it sucked, but it was just that one. Now you got like these games and they having all these issues. Day one patch shit. You got all this other shit that's going on. And I'm like, how come you just can't make a solid game with like that you gotta keep fixing all the time? I mean all the time. Like maybe somebody in the industry could be like, okay, this is why this happens. Then okay, then it's like, all right, then I could see, I could understand it. But I mean, if you ain't saying like the inner workings, or then it's like, what the fuck is this? It just seems like looking from the outside in, it's just basically like you just don't give a fuck really. That's basically what it looks like. These companies just don't care. But they want you to care about giving them money for a product you assume that it's supposed to be like cool and working. You should spend $400, $500 and just know and have ease that the shit is gonna be like working. This ain't your first rodeo. It's unacceptable, bro. And people giving them a pass. Wow. Like I said, I'm glad I didn't buy into that. That's some real shit. It just make it seem like it just makes it seem like I'll just buy it like 6 months from now, something like that. And then I just bought the PlayStation 5 camera. Now I'm like just assuming that I was like, oh, I'm gonna get the actual system. But now it's just like I'm skeptical about the camera. Like, is that gonna glitch? And then it's like now I'm thinking like I should have just got a PlayStation 4 camera and just streamed off of that because the same games that people were playing, well, like the games that people were basically anticipating, like Miles Morales or Cyberpunk is gonna come out for the PlayStation 4 anyway. But people keep talking about all this, and then kind of not even like getting off subject, but like hearing all these people talking about like the frame rate 30 and 60 frames per second. I mean, it's almost like I don't like, how could I say this? It's almost like you trying to give yourself epilepsy or something. Like 60 frames ain't gonna be good enough in the future. It's gonna be like, oh, I need 120 frames. I need 300 frames. I need some shit just to make me. I'm seeing the shit so quick. I just black out and just have seizures and shit. I mean, damn, like 30. I'm not saying like 30 frames and 60 frames. It's like whatever, but it's just like just play the game. I mean, whatever how it comes out. I mean, this shit don't make a difference to me. It really does. If it's 30, 60, fuck it. I mean, if it's to the point where it's lags, then it's a problem. Like when I make when I make the terrain too big in Unreal, like I make them shits big, and then when I test it out with the mannequin, and then I'm running, my frame rate drops from 60 to 10 frames. That's a problem. But if it's like certain shit is like talk about frame rates, I mean, when stuff is supposed to be just regular, I mean, you're just complaining about too much shit. Like I said, from 60 to 10, that's the problem. But like I said, some of the stuff people were talking about, it's just like, I don't know. It just seems like overkill, basically. It's just overkill. It's just like HD and then and then OLED and QLED. I mean, damn. I mean, at this point, as long as I could see what the fuck is on TV, I mean, I don't want the colors to be just so crisp and just so vibrant. I mean, if it is vibrant, if it's crisp, if it's just regular, I mean, I don't want to go back to a tube TV, but like any flat screen would do. I mean, if it's OLED Q HD, it's just like, okay, dude, damn. I, I, I don't know, dude. I don't know what the fuck is going on these days. Woo-wee. Mm. Lord have mercy. Let me see. What should I work on? I'm gonna be forever doing this shit. Oh boy. I mean, it's just like I said, we're going back to the whole Rockstar launcher. I mean, you act like you operating like you Deep Silver or something. Like I expect this shit out of Deep Silver, but Rockstar though, I mean, out of $20, because a $6 billion+ company can't even get this shit together. And then it's like, oh, and then it's like people say you shouldn't like heat up on people, but it's just like, why the fuck not? You gotta call people out on their bullshit because it's like we gonna just keep getting away with it. And if they want to get mad and be like, "Oh, did you fucked up," or we got to make fun of you somewhere, it's like, no, bitch. People need to make fun of your ass, cause how you amass all this shit, been doing this shit for a long time, and you can't put a proper game system or product together. You should be making fun of yourselves. Don't heat up on me for making some trash ass shit and stealing people's money and not want to. I mean, hell, even in these videos, they was talking about the Rockstar support wouldn't want to take their calls and they had to go through some other shit. And it's like you gotta uninstall the launcher and then re-upload it. Like, why should I have to do all that after it was already downloaded and I bought the shit? Why do I have to? It's a problem. I gotta go through all these hoops and tricks just for the shit to start. They should have already known how this was going to be. Why release products if it's going to act like this? That's a failure on that company's part, not people calling them out on it. But see, these nutsacks don't give a fuck though. It's just give me money, and if you complain, oh fucking well. Like I said, you expect this from like a new startup company or somebody that's just kind of like, I don't know, doesn't have all the resources and all that shit. It then is like, okay, I see they're trying, but you know they fucking up that, but they at least they're trying. But at this point, with certain brands, that it's just so big. It shouldn't be this. It shouldn't. You shouldn't have these problems. You should not have these issues whatsoever. Cause it just looks crazy as hell. That shit looks crazy as hell. But what do I know? I'm just a dude up in the attic making my own game. What the fuck do I know? I mean, hell, even with me, I'm making my own game by myself. Nobody's watching these videos. And I'm just sitting up there having fun creating my own shit. Cause it was to a certain point I got tired of playing everybody else's bullshit, and it was like, oh, I can make my own shit from home. Word. Now I'm just like I said, I'm just one dude. Now, if somebody's saying like, oh, this is fucked up or whatever, that's like you could expect some like I don't know. Like I mean, he's one man, give him a break type thing. But when you got teams of like hundreds of people and people at your studios and you could afford like the best shit, the best servers and just all this shit, it, like normal problems shouldn't be a problem. Cause like I said, I've been playing games for a long time. A long time. And it's like certain things shouldn't even be happening at this point. And it's like to a certain degree, yes, I'm a PlayStation fanboy or a Rockstar fanboy and shit. And this is just like come on, get your shit together type thing. But it's like if they want to just ignore people or not try, then it's like I'm not going to sit up there and wait around for them to get their act together. I mean, if that's how they feeling, then it's like then deuces. I mean, hell, if Rockstar came through my window right now, was like, "Oh, I see you making a game. You wanna work with us and shit." And I'd be like, "Fuck yeah!" But they a lot of their practices is trash. I'm not gonna shit up there and sugarcoat the shit just cause I like the fuck out of here. Like I said, people got duped. Like I said, homegirl was sitting up there trying to play Miles, and she edited the shit out. Her shit froze 6 times. I'm like, wow. Come on, dude. Like I said, people should try to get their money back. And then what happened to all that liquid cooling technology bullshit PlayStation was talking about? Apparently, it wasn't cooling it off hard enough. Wow, ain't this a bitch? Ain't this a motherfucking bitch right here? Yeah, this for some reason I feel like this is not gonna come out right. I don't know. Seeing this like I'm hard on myself. I'm like looking at this and I'm like I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm not gonna sit up there and pretend like I'm doing a good job if I'm not. Like I said, too many people accepting this shit. That's for real. I mean, this is supposed to get cut out anyway, so fuck that. Like I said, this is supposed to be cut out, but I'm gonna just keep going with it, just in case, basically. Just to fill the shit in. This ain't even like, and this just feels funny. Yeah, then Sean, he was like, What did he say? He said he got like a gaming piece. He got like two gaming PCs. Like he's not on this whole like PC that's better than like console. Cause I mean he plays everything. You know he has Xbox, PlayStation, PCs, and like I said, now he's talking about he got two gaming PCs. And then he was talking about basically just stay away from PlayStation for now. And I'm like, damn. Like that shit is insane. Cause he'd be one of the first people, and he's been saying this for the longest time, like the system is overheating it does this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I'm kinda like what the fuck then? Damn, what the hell, man? What is it? Oh, I turned the shit around anyway. Fuck it. I'm trying shit. What do I need to do? I don't want this platform to be this high. I do not want this platform to be this high. I mean, the thing to do is, wait a minute. The fucking thing to do is making like shrink this shit, but see, this is one of the reasons why I do not like. Come on, man, where is it, dude? This is one of the reasons why I don't apply the mirror on like right away. Because for the simple fact, I don't want to have to like accept the shit And then it's like, oh, I fucked up with something. I have to keep switching back and forth to the same side. You know, like with the mirror modifier. I mean, you know, people that know this knows how this goes. You know, you just do one side and you basically do both sides. And it's like, that's why I don't finalize the shit. Cause then I'm looking at this heel and I'm like, is it thin enough though? Or should I keep it like that? But again, since this is just a like a low poly model, I mean I could just duplicate it and make it like the heel to whatever I want to, but I mean fuck it, it is what it is. I mean whatever I do, like I said, if it just don't come out right, it's just cause I mean I could just like I take duplicate not yeah duplicate the heel and separate it or just separate it period so it could be its own thing and change that up. So I'm going to move on. And I should have did this whole negative 90 degrees shit a long time ago. Cause I gotta do this for every fucking shoe. Wait, then let me see. What was this? Oh, okay. Like I'm not doing the actual reference pictures. Like I'm not doing this night. I mean, it's just see one thing. Like okay, like for my story, it's in the future and it's on another planet. So it's like there's no like Earth known name brands on these different planets. So it's like I have the freedom to get away with that. Like I can make this shoe to whatever I want to, but I'm just like blocking out the geometry of the shoe. And that's basically what I've been doing. But like for this though, it's going to be a slight challenge. It's going to be a slight challenge. Because not only I have to design like different shoes, but even for this, like I've seen how like the heels, like you know, it's hard to find videos on how to make heels. Gym shoes I've seen, but I haven't practiced it though. This is the first time I'm practicing gym shoes. And so now I'm kind of thinking like, like this edge is too far off to my right. And it's like I need to make sure how is this going to be? Like for real, for real. I mean, there's the half. We'll see. We shall see. And then it's like even with the heel, it's not like the flap and the tongue is there unless you talking about like Tim boot heels or some shit like that. But it's just the regular standard heel. I mean, it's just an opening where the foot goes in. But a gym shoe is gonna be slightly different. I mean, it's not even slightly. Because it's that whole middle part where the tongue is, and where I mean the whole bottom part. That's whatever. Hmm. Like I said, we're gonna see. We are going to see. We're gonna see. Hmm. Okay, that didn't come out too bad though. And this foot looks kind of round and small and shit. Let me see. I gotta make it big for my big foot ass. Ladies, you know what they said about dudes with big feet. Well, you know what? Yo, I know what I'm gonna do. Let me save this real quick. I'll save it down. And let me duplicate it. What should I say? I'm gonna say small. And I'm gonna say long. And then I'm basically gonna save as so it could be two different shoes out of the same shoe. Yeah, but okay, yeah, this is cool. I mean, I gotta make the loop cuts for the size that flap, and then like I guess the tongue would be like this section. Let's see. Trying to like do this whole, because I have to remember where the tongue would be anyway. Yeah. I mean, this actually came out better than I thought. That's why I wasn't really working on them after I blocked them out like the first time. Yeah, this should be cool. And plus, like I said, in the future, like I mean, like on a different planet, doesn't have to even be a tongue of the shoe. I mean, it could just be like a strap that goes over it, and like this zipper instead of like. Cause one thing I hate doing, like especially drawing it, I hated doing shoelaces. I hated that shit. So I don't know. I mean, I think the process here, like in 3D, is easier than drawing it because at least you don't have to do like drawing. Especially if the character's like in front and you see the feet, you got to do the shoelaces twice. Here, at least you just have to do them once, and then there's like curves that you could make the shoelace follow through. But I'm like, I'm trying to not even do that shit. Like for real, I'm really trying not to do that. It's just it's time. It's too time consuming. I mean, but this should be this is all right though. I mean, if this is just like a basic, more like your starter kit type shit. See, and even like let me check this out. Oh no, where is this? This is a whole new line, right? No, it's not. Fuck it. What this is? Yeah, like I said, this is fun to me. Trying to see like how this all works and the inner workings of this shit and what could I do? How could I learn from it? How could I improve? Cause I know, like, whenever this shit comes out, or whenever, if I ever put this game together and it actually comes out, I know people gonna be saying some shit. I know this. I already know this. But at least is like, no, I'm gonna hold off on that. At least I'll say like I gave it my all, and I did the best I can on some real shit. But I'm not. But like I said, I wouldn't release like something that's just groundbreakingly bad though. Like I don't want this to come back and haunt me like 20 years later, but like I was saying, even with my game, if my shit was finished in 2020, I wouldn't release, and I would tell people the game is finished, but it would take a year at least to play it several times to figure out, okay, this doesn't work. And I would get like people I know, like that I like my friend Sean or like my cousin or something, hit, and then their brothers, and be like, or like people that I could trust, that won't release the shit, but it's like, okay, play this game. How does this work on your shit? What do you like and don't like? Write down like if you see something that's just irregular or something that pops up, you know, be brutally honest with the shit. Tell me about it, and we could just go back and fix the shit. Like if it's like real bad, or even if you have questions on it. I mean, that's just like I'm gonna finish it and be like, okay, now I'm gonna release it without testing it out myself, because that would just look bad on my end. Like, why you release shit like this if it's broke? Them issue an apology like, oh, we're sorry, we issue an apology to the fan base. The corporate apology bullshit. It's like, nah, man. It's to a certain at a certain time that is not gonna fly right anymore, because people gonna be tired of hearing, like, it's just like a machine at this point. Like there's no person behind this shit. It's just empty words from a studio. People want to see you at the table, lights flashing, a press conference. I mean, they want to see the whole shit. Be like, yo, we want to see the face behind the asshole that fucked up. Cause like I said, that shit is inexcusable for a company that's worth billions or something to come up with some shit like they just came out. Wow. Yo. Oh man, that shit was crazy. See, wait a minute. Let's see, here, I'll fix that later, because I'm like, I don't like how that edge is. And look at that. Look at that. No. See, and this is just like this double faces in here. See, I mean, you're not supposed to have double faces. You're not supposed to have that shit going on. At least that's what I've heard. Alright, let me try to fix this. Oh, no, fam. I need to get rid of this too. And just join these shits together. Okay, this is what's up. This. Okay, yeah. I mean, cause the shit I'm doing, this is gonna be a process. Cause, and first, I shouldn't do this, but I usually bounce around from like project to project, so to speak. Like today, I just felt like working on the shoes, or at least seeing if it's gonna work out. Now I shouldn't have done this like live on a stream. I should have like practiced it, because this is like after I blocked it out, I was like, okay, let me. What was I doing after this? I think weapons or something. Like I was like making more weapons, but then I was doing hair for certain characters. So I'm like bouncing around. Like I'm like this. Like I don't listen to the same type of music like all the time, because it depends on what mood I'm feeling. Like maybe I'm feeling like listening to Lacana Coil, or like I just heard like Busta Rhymes, like one of his songs, "Oh No," off his new album, or like I'm listening to some techno shit, like Dead Mouse or something, or whatever the case is. And that's basically how I approach it. Like it's just like eating food. Like you don't eat the same shit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's like with this, like I might not feel like working on shoes until like for the next 3 weeks. You know what I mean? And then I'll bounce back to that like working on some shoes or something. And plus, it's like again, like since this is like a low poly model, it's like what would I do for this type of shoe? Again, you could always like for this, duplicate it like how I did with the previous shoe and just, like always have this, like as long as you have this type of original, you could always duplicate it, work on some idea, and then after it's finished, then you could just go back to this particular low poly mesh, duplicate it and work on it and keep like rinse and repeat. So you don't have to keep redoing the same model shoe over and over again. Like once you make one, you basically made many. Like I said, instead of like going to the reference image and be like okay, then this, that, and the other, and all this. Like you don't have to keep using these reference images after that, because you already have what you got out of the reference image. Like this is like a high top shoe with no air quotes, but it's a high top shoe, but it's not gonna look like that Jordan though. It's gonna be like a whole different thing because of like the setting of whatever you're trying to like make out of it. So that's like the cool part about all this. But like I said, I'll be jumping from like project to project though. And that's a bad habit kind of, instead of just sticking with one thing and finishing it to the end. But I'm like, whatever though. Cause like I said, I have to try to figure out something like basically how this is going to end up being in the first place. And like the shoe design, like how should I make this shoe out to be? Like how would this look good? Cause this would technically be the bottom of the shoe right here. Like starting from this line up will be the like shoe part. This would be the like the rubber part of the sole, that connects to the sole and shit. So I mean, as of right now, I mean, see, this is even kind of too like high up here. Yeah. Oh, then I had one of my questions answered about the cloth simulator. Cause I was wondering, like, what if you have some? Cause it seems like it's always like you have to have everything be like squares like this. Like you can't have no triangles. Well, I'm not saying. I was on the. I was assuming that you couldn't have any triangles. You know, if you had like one or two, maybe four. You know, cause the simulation wouldn't act right. And so, some dude on Discord was like, "Nah, you shouldn't have a problem." So I was like, "Oh, that's what's up." Because it's always like right around the armpit where the triangle would show up. And since you're doing it like a mirror modifier, it would be two triangles. So I was kind of always worried about that. But now I know. I mean, now this should be straight. Now, I don't know. Let's see how long I've been doing this. Yeah, I'ma just I don't know. Where was I at? I'm gonna just do the rest of them because there's a lot of shoes I gotta do. Like a lot of them. I'm gonna do these shoes. I'm gonna have to do this off camera. I mean, this should be the easiest out of the gym shoes because, I mean, there's not too much to this. Wait, I did not speak too soon. Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, I mean, shit, this is it. And plus, my ass is tired sitting down. I've been sitting down here for hours. My ass gotta take a break. Yeah, this is cool. Cause I had to redo what was it? Um like I had to redo the whole thing here. Like the shin guard and shit. Like I had to change this whole thing. Like I redid it. Oh, this was like, see, this gala suit, dude. I, one of the reasons why, like, this suit is kind of like it's too many parts to it, and then there's like a shin guard, like a shoulder guard to it, and I knew for a fact I was like, this is going to take a long time, and this was going to be very daunting, and I just kept putting it off for like at least 3 months at least, because one suit, it has feathers, and I don't know how to do the feathers, but I've seen a video how to do it, but I wasn't grasping it because it was like the early stages of working on this type of program. So I was like, now if I go back to it, I could probably get a better understanding of how to do the feathers. But then the dude in the video was talking about the feathers. It slows down your system, and I'm like, oh, so I don't know. But I knew this particular suit here that goes with the shin guard was going to be a problem. Just even working on this shit, and I'm like, damn. Because then there's like the knee pad, like that goes with this shit, and then like the bottom part, it didn't come out bad. The bottom part actually came out cool. I mean, obviously I gotta like, solidify it, do the mirror thing, and you know, but I mean, but this middle part was the problem. And plus, I was working on it like in the like the past video. Then I was working on it. Rockstars, like the Rockstar launcher was on my mind, and I was like, I was frustrated with that. Then trying to figure out the geometry of it, and I used a plane that didn't come out right because I was like, because with the whole geometry shit, like things are pretty standard, and it's like usually the geometry, like for shoes, you're gonna use a plane. Like the bottom of a shoe, you're gonna use a plane for the most part. But like bottles, those are cylinders. Um, like if you're trying to do like a heater or a TV, that's basically a square, like a cube. Um, like certain objects that's already like plane, cube, circle, UV sphere, icosphere, cylinder, cone, torus. I mean, those are like generally like items in the world. Like speakers, you're going to use a cube. And it was like I was trying to figure out what geometry I could pull this from, and I used a plane, and that didn't come out right. So I was like, after I like jumped off of the stream, I was like, it was almost like soon as I did that, it was like, oh, I could have used a cube for it, and just took out the top, bottom, and the back face, and then but then it was like molding it. Then I had to like cut out the middle part between like the the, the hard part here in the middle. I was like, man. I mean, like working on it though, it came out not like the drawing, but it's like it's close enough. And so I've been working on this like for like at least 2 days. But Yeah, I'm gonna log off and continue to work on this. Like I said, this gala suit, oh my god. And this is just the first major piece to this. Like I said, the shoulder guard is gonna be somewhat of a problem. Cause one part of the thing goes up in an angle and it's like, oh boy. Even though I could use like a bullion like modifier to do the part that goes up in the angle. But anyway, I'm done though. Like I said, I had to vent about this PlayStation and people getting fucked over about this. Like I said, that shit is unacceptable, man. Like I said, I'm glad I dodged the bullet. And these stores, they're like, oh, like I'm going to the Walmart. They say get on the Walmart app. They don't have it. It's like there's a picture of the PlayStation, but then it sends you to the controller. I'm like, come on, dude. And so, like I said, I'm glad I dodged the bullet because I would have been frustrated. I'll sit up there spending 300 because I want the digital version. But if I get the one with the CD tray, it's like whatever. But I'm like spending all that money on a system and it doesn't work. I'm like, no, this is just not cool. It's just unacceptable. It's just like I shouldn't have to buy a system and then it doesn't work like for $300. It would be different if it was like $10 or something. He'd be like, "Oh, I'm out of $10," but whatever. But I'm just spending like 300, 400, $500 on this shit. It should be basically working like if God worked at PlayStation. It just should be a flawless system. You turn it on and rest easy that it's gonna play your game and you ain't gotta worry about it. But now it's like the devil made the shit and it just wanna fuck people up for no reason. Just so people won't have a good time. Like I said, that's just unacceptable. I get that shit when I get the shit like like maybe January or like 6 months from now when they iron out everything they need to iron out and people saying like yeah all the problems are fixed. Cause and that's why people shouldn't be early adapters. You should be. I mean, and then but it's like but people have this sense like they don't want to be missing out. And they got FOMO, whatever the fuck it's called. I don't want to miss out. But then you stuck with a $400 paperweight. So it's just like, yeah, just wait. Just wait, because this it's not worth it. It's not worth the frustration. And it's definitely not acceptable when you got this company. I mean, this is not the first time you doing this shit, dude. This is the PlayStation 5, not the PlayStation 2, 5. I mean, you know how this goes by now. But like I said, that's people, man. I'm just like, hey, I'm glad I dodged the bullet. But I'm out though. I hope PlayStation and all these companies get their act together. But I'm like I said, I'm glad I didn't buy it. So I'm out.